It was great to be here, actually. I came in this afternoon after another session around in town and popped in, had a chance to hear a few of the speakers this afternoon. Good local people with some good stories, and enjoyed both the content and the format. My name is Brandon Knicely. I'm a co-founder of a company here in town called Third Drive. We help people stay in that third drive of passion, profit, and purpose, kind of all together. So you get beyond just the carrots and sticks into where you're really passionate about what you're doing. And so for me, it's always fun to come in to see other entrepreneurs that are involved in building something that's useful. And I was encouraged by, and I really enjoyed the quality of the presenters. Particularly in the last session, Will, it's fun to see him build a company inside of 1 year and literally have an exit with Goldman Sachs, which is pretty significant. I mean, we used to look at 4-year horizons in terms of startups, and now we look at typically 10-year horizons. So anybody that does it inside of 1 or 2 years is, a rock star in my book. I'd come in as much as I can, so I'm somewhat limited, but with my schedule, but I like coming in and spending time with local entrepreneurs, and this is a great venue as well. Well, being an entrepreneur is a challenge, and there's only one way to learn it, OJT, on the job, right? And so anything you can do to support the structure around learning is great. And I love the last session, Will talked about, if you're not, it's not easy. It's not an easy journey. And he gave very practical sort of advice around, board management, funding. Scott, in his session, also talked about skin in the game and bootstrapped gigs. And so there's quite a bit of a difference between a bootstrapped startup and a well-funded startup and an experienced multi sort of stage, or we call them, sort of serial entrepreneurs, the people who have gone out and raised a bunch of money. I've raised a couple $100 million. We built. So once you get into that mode, you're used to using other people's money, and there's a very different game. However, the DNA has to be similar. You can't be risk averse. You've got to be all in. There are certain skills at another level that I think Will represented. I'm impressed by his ability to exit in a year. I just still sort of reeling from that one. And he's done it a couple times. So I did a $60 million Series A, but we never had a 1-year exit. I mean, I was impressed by that. But what I liked was his perspective on boards and board management and keeping the VCs in a box, recognizing that some are more than the box of just funding and writing the checks. But when you begin to expect that and almost lean on that, then you have to be careful. When you recognize them as at the base function to fund you, then you take the responsibility for ownership of scaling your business. There's been so many lessons learned over the past from the bubbles where we go out and build up and to the right about learning, and they say, hey, we'll fund you, just build more market share and more employees, and there's so much overhang and lessons we've learned in the past. So I thought that Will's session was particularly useful, I think, for first-time entrepreneurs to gain that insight that you don't want to over-lean on those who it's really not their job to do your job. And the Facebook movie and all that, it's like it's overly dramatized, but when but they're great people, right? But the idea of I love the idea of enrollment, the idea of negotiating sort of terms for a 1-year exit, which is crazy. It's like poker, The valuation goes up as much as I'm willing to put down on the table. It's all about, if I say that I'm worth $1 million, you have to tell me whether I am or I'm not. And if I can help you believe that I'm worth $1 million, then I'm worth $1 million, which is part of the fun.